Welcome to day 20, Agile Tools and Techniques. Empower your team leveraging technology for Agile success. Today we're going to cover objectives for day 20, right, which explore popular tools for implementing Agile practices such as Jira, Trello, and Asana. Understand the functionalities of these tools and their applications in Agile workflows. Learn how to use Agile techniques like user stories, backlog grooming, and retrospectives effectively. And then prepare for situational and knowledge-based questions on Agile tools and techniques. So last week we talked about Agile tools for reporting, right? Reporting and metrics. And so we want to make sure that we cover some of the other Agile tools that you'll see and use, PMIS systems and stuff like that, right? These necessarily won't be on the exam, but it's good for you guys to know. We want you guys to see this stuff here and not see it for the first time getting to your organization, right? At least you've heard of it, and so you're able to research it if you want to, instead of, showing up not knowing at your skill bridge or whatever you're using for you to onboard into your company. So popular Agile tools, right? A comprehensive guide with explanations, right? So Agile tools play a crucial role in streamlining workflows, fostering collaboration, and tracking progress. So each tool has its own unique features and is suited for specific project needs, right? So here's a detailed breakdown of some of the most popular Agile tools, their purposes, and why they're effective. The first one is Jira, right? And I don't even know if I'm saying that right, because that's just the way I say it. But the comprehensive Agile powerhouse, right? So purpose, Jira is a robust and versatile tool designed for managing Agile projects, particularly in software development. Right, it's widely used for its ability to support both Scrum and Kanban methodologies, right? Which is mostly used during, any Agile project. You're going to use those two, right? Key features, right? So backlog management, sprint planning, and tracking, as well as Kanban and Scrum boards, right? So you'll use all three of those. Look at how they're effective within Jira. It'll show that, and then customizable workflows as well as reports and analytics. Right, so use all that during Jira. These is just, like I said, this is just an introduction to some of the most used tools within the project management toolbox. So I'm just showing it to you. 2 is Trello, right? Simple and visual. It's a simple and visual Kanban tool. Purpose is to be user friendly. Perfect for managing tasks using Kanban boards, right? Its simplicity makes it a favorite for smaller teams or lightweight projects. Key features that you'll see: drag and drop interface. Wow, that really dropped. Drag and drop interface. Easily moves tasks between columns. The customizable columns, integrations, visual simplicity, right? So why use it? It's ideal for straightforward task management and small teams. For instance, a marketing team can use Trello to organize content creation tasks, track deadlines, and collaborate on campaigns. In a world of remote work, you'll use this more often than not when you're working on a small project, something that you just need to track where tasks are in the process of completion. And then 3 is Asana, agile and hybrid project management. Asana is a flexible project management tool designed to track tasks, manage workflows, and facilitate team collaboration. It's suitable for both agile and hybrid project methodologies. Its key features of it is that it task assigns, timeline and calendar view, collaboration tools, right? So it enables teams to comment on tasks, share files, and communicate in context. And then also workflow management. It allows teams to map and optimize processes. So why I use it, right? So teams use Asana because it works well for teams that need a structured task management and collaboration. For example, a product design team can use Asana to manage design tasks, share mockups, and track progress against deadlines. For Azure DevOps or development and agile integration, its purpose is it's developed by Microsoft, but it's an end-to-end tool that combines agile workflows with DevOps practices, making it ideal for development teams, right? So it has some agile boards, integration with Git, build and release pipelines, automates build, test, and deployment processes. And so people use it because they need to integrate agile planning with continuous integration or continuous improvement or continuous development pipelines. For example, a software development team can use it to manage sprints and automate deployment simultaneously. 5, Monday.com. Right, so this is the final one that we'll talk about here, but it's flexible and customizable. Right, so its purpose: Monday.com is a highly customizable tool for tracking agile workflows, managing resources, and visualizing project progress. Its key features that it has a customizable dashboard, creating personalized views for tracking project metrics, as well as Kanban and timeline view, and then integrations. Right, works with popular tools like Jira, Slack, and Google Drive. And so it's great for teams that require flexibility and tailored solutions. For instance, a content creation team can use it to manage publishing schedules, track approvals, and visualize campaign progress. So how to choose the right tool, right? So for large, complex projects, you use something like Jira or Azure DevOps for robust tracking and integration features. For small, simple projects, you use something like Trello. And for a general task management project, you use something like Asana or Monday.com for their balance and structure and flexibility, right? So that's the tools that you would use. Here's some agile techniques that you'll see within it. One, user stories, right? The building blocks of agile work, right? So a definition of user stories is that they are concise descriptions of features and tasks written from the end user's perspective. They capture what the end user needs, why they need it, and how it benefits them, right? So the format you'll see is as a blank, right? The user role, I want blank so that blank, right? I want this feature so that we have this benefit. So as a customer, I want this feature so that I have this benefit, right? And so that's what you would see from the user story, and you have to figure out how to get there. Purpose is to help teams understand user needs and ensure work is focused on delivering value. Delivering what they need, not necessarily what your solution presents, right? You don't just, it's not your interpretation that you're solving for. It's what they need, right? Their interpretation. So as an example there, and then why it matters, right? So user stories keep the team aligned with user needs, ensuring that the final product addresses real world problems. They also simplify communication between the stakeholders and developers, right? So they give this information and we can solve for this information and get feedback from them in order to make adjustments from there. 2, backlog grooming, right? Refinement. That's what grooming means. You're refining the backlog, keeping work prioritized, right? So definition of backlog grooming is that it's also called backlog refinement. And it's this process of reviewing and updating the product backlog to ensure it's organized, accurate, and actionable. So activities that you'll see is clarifying user stories, estimating effort, and removing outdated tasks. Purpose is to ensure that the most valuable and feasible tasks are ready for the team to tackle in upcoming sprints. You want to make sure that you are tackling the most valuable tasks up front. As you move through each sprint, right, you're going to continue to backlog groom or backlog refine. Why? Well, like I just said, maintaining the prioritization of value is going to be imperative to your success as a project manager or product manager, right? So it's just important. Also, backlog grooming ensures that the team works on the most critical and well-defined tasks, reducing confusion and delaying delays during sprints. 3, retrospectives, right? So reflecting to improve, right? Definition is that it's a team meeting held at the end of each sprint to reflect on what went well, what didn't, and what can be improved. In AAR, like I said previously during that day, and AAR is the same thing, right? What went well, right? What are some improves? What are some sustains, right? What were we supposed to do? What actually happened? Right? What are some processes that we can change? How will we go about this differently? Right? How in planning this project, what could we have changed? What could we have improved on? Right? These are things that are important. An example of this is in a retrospective, a team might discuss how delayed feedback from stakeholders slowed progress. They decide to schedule stakeholder review sessions earlier in the sprint in order to mitigate this. So why it matters, retrospectives foster a culture of learning and improvement, helping teams adapt and grow with each sprint. You need to make sure, and I just use this for an example because it's important for you to reflect on everything, right? Why it matters, it fosters a culture of learning and improvement. Like, you should always be looking to improve. You should always be looking to reflect on what you've already done, why it worked, why it didn't work, right? What can be improved, because that's how you get smarter. That's how you move more efficiently. That's how you are more effective, right? Every person needs to do this individually, and every team needs to do this at the end of each project. 4, story point estimation, right? Measuring effort, right? So definition is that story points are a relative measure of effort, complexity, and time required to complete a task. Technique, teams often use plan and poker to estimate story points collaboratively. Each team member assigns a point value to a task based on their understanding. The team discusses any discrepancies and agrees on a final estimate. Purpose is a story point estimation helps the team plan sprints more effectively by understanding how much work they can realistically handle. A simple bug fix might be assigned 1 story point, while a complex feature requiring integration and testing might be 8 points. Why it matters? Well, by focusing on relative effort rather than the exact time, story points improve planning accuracy and help teams manage workload effectively, right? And so this is a way, this is specifically used for mostly coding. I'm gonna be honest with you. You can use it for other things. But you'll see this most often with coding, right? Depending on how complex a task is, will determine how many story points it has. But the story points itself, right? That's gonna be agreed upon value that you and your team members come up with, right? And you're gonna have to keep that value as you move throughout sprints, because it's gonna help you, one, predict your velocities and stuff like that, your cadences, make sure you're staying on pace. But it is something that you guys come up with internally. So just remember that. 5, daily stand-ups, right? So staying aligned. Definition of daily stand-ups is that they are short, focused meetings held every day during a sprint to keep the team aligned and address blockers, right? Any blockers within your process, right? Things that are stopping you, things that are impediments to you, your progress, you need to make sure that you bring up during the daily stand-up. And then purpose, right? These meetings ensure transparency, foster communication, and help resolve issues quickly, right? So the format that you'll see more often than not, especially relayed in not only the PMP questions, but the PMBOK, right? What did I do yesterday, right? The progress update. What will I do today? Plan for the day. And then what obstacles are blocking me, right? What are the impediments that I need to solve for? Like what issue needs resolving? Example, right? A developer might say, yesterday I completed the login page design. Today I'll start the coding authentication logic, and I'm waiting on the API documentation from another team, which is blocking my progress, right? This is where you get into bottlenecks because you have a dependency. So how do you solve it, right? At least you're bringing it up so that you're able to solve it. And now the project manager, scrum master, whoever is in charge can go through and solve that problem. Why it matters? Well, daily stand-ups ensure everyone is on the same page and prevents issues from escalating by addressing them early. Always address these problems early. Always address problems early. Always be transparent, because that enables somebody to address the problem, right? So why these techniques matter? Well, it shows you right there, going through each one, giving them an explanation on why these techniques matter. But by mastering these techniques, teams can enhance collaboration, improve efficiency, and deliver high quality outcomes in the agile environment, right? And so it has using tools to implement techniques, right? So you use different tools that you just saw in implementing those techniques that we just talked about, right? And so it talks about that right there. Go ahead and read through that, gain some understanding. Essentially, a lot of this is review, and a lot of this is just stuff that we'll talk about over and over and over again, because we want to drill it into your head, these concepts, right? Because the hardest thing about learning the PMBOK language is understanding the mindset. And once you have the mindset drilled into you, you can almost answer every question correctly. Challenges in agile tools and techniques, right? Overcomplicating tools, right? So solution, choose tools that match your team's size and complexity level. If you're not doing a project that is super diverse and complex and has all these stakeholders that need to be involved, you know, high-level executives, outside stakeholders, yada, 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 that can access the same information, right? And there's so many, there's a change control board and yada, yada. You know, like this is stuff that you're talking about in a predictive environment, but you will have tools that you'll use in a predictive environment, right? And so just making sure that you guys are choosing the right tools that fit your project is the most important thing when it comes to tool selection. Lack of engagement in retrospectives, right? So use interactive methods like dot voting or virtual boards to encourage participation. This is something that you guys should want to do. Foster a culture of engagement within reviews, because it's important for you guys to see what you guys have done well in order to keep those things going, as well as see what you did wrong in order to find solutions for those problems, right? Because as you continuously work together, you guys want to get better and better as a team, not necessarily stay stagnant with the same problems showing up in the next sprint or next iteration. Ineffective backlog management, right? So schedule regular backlog grooming sessions to maintain clarity and priorities. You need transparency, right? Hey, we just got 3 more items added to this backlog. What's the priorities, right? What's more important, right? These are things that these questions that you should naturally have, and you bring up with the sponsors, you bring up with the product manager, you bring up with different people that are involved. And then we're finally here at the practice scenarios. So we're going to do the same thing, read through the practice scenarios, give your own answer, and then see if you're aligned with the PMI mindset, right? And the PMI mindset may give you some information on how you should answer, and it should, right? So you should be thinking about, okay, why didn't I think like this? How do I align myself with this train of thought? And then move through the practice questions for day 20. Go through all 10 practice questions. If you want to see how I would answer these practice questions, go to my practice question playlist and go to day 20, and I will show you how I would move through these practice questions and solve for them. Finally, we're at the end of day reflection. Agile tools and techniques are the backbone of successful implementation. Reflect on which tools and methods resonate most with your workflow and team dynamics. Are there opportunities to introduce new techniques or optimize current processes? Tomorrow, we'll move into day 21, adaptive planning and agile, focusing on balancing flexibility with structure in dynamic projects. With that, if you still want to study, hit the processing map game, hit the flashcards. If you're already a pro at both of those, you're good, baby. Do your own type of studying. Go out and find the Reddit page, right? The PMP Reddit page. Maybe use some of those resources, and then come back for the next day and learn some more, right? It's important that you continuously learn. If you're not getting much from here, which you should be getting a lot, right? This is why you pay for this. Go to the back of the book, learn some of those things in the back of the book, right? Take some time to review them. You should be reviewing them as much as possible. But with that, do as you will. Keep your motivation, keep your discipline. You're one step closer to getting your PMP certification. So continue on this path, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.